Step 1.
Placed a 2 or 3 extra long hook into the jaws of the vise, and we're going to start our tying thread. We're using a red thread to match the natural color of the bloodworm. Trim away the excess thread, and then continue covering the hook shank with tying thread.
You didn't rip it like the other ones.
No, we're using a 6/0 gel spun polyester here, so it's a little stronger thread.
Step 2.
Split the end of a piece of superfloss.
Step 3.
And take the prepared superfloss, I'm going to tie it in place right at the front of the hook, get a good purchase with the thread, and then pull back and up to stretch the material out and ensure it rights itself on top of the hook shank. We want to keep a nice slim body profile to match the natural chironomid larva.
Step 4.
We're going to grab the superfloss and using our thumb and forefingers of both hands, pull on the superfloss to carry the split all the way down.
Step 5.
Going to come in with our scissors, just gather it without stretching and trim it even with the bend of the hook to form a neat little V-tail.
Step 6.
Take some fine copper wire and tie it in place directly along the side of the hook in this instance, because we're going to counterwind this rib when we wind it over the completed body.
Step 7.
I'm going to take about an inch and a half length of frostbite, grasp it by both ends, pull until it unravels. It forms 2 strands.
Step 8.
I'm going to take our prepared frostbite and bind it in place at the front of the hook and then pull it into position, and just before it pulls out of the tying thread, stop and add securing wraps.
Step 9.
Moisten our fingers and take the frostbite backwards down the hook shank, close touching turns, all the way to the tail. And when we reach the rear of the hook, we're going to come back forward to the tying thread. This allows the body to be formed in a neat, narrow manner, allows you to cover up any sort of gaps you have, and when you overwrap a material with itself, it in turn becomes quite durable. It's a trick borrowed from tying classic streamer flies like the Mickey fin. And then we'll just tie off the frostbite, fold it back, place an additional securing wraps. We don't want this to come undone, and then trim away the excess.
Step 10.
Take our fine copper wire and counterwind the wire over the body to form the rib.
Why do you counterwind with the copper wire?
Counterwinding adds durability and also adds for more pronounced rib.
How many rotations do you want to make? Do you want to have a certain amount of segments?
Ideally you should, but I just get into a rhythm and get a nice even spacing. I guess it's based on the logic, if fish can count, we have far bigger problems. He should be able to see the hook and all the other flaws in the presentation.
Step 11.
Take our whip finisher and form our whip finish, and we're going to use the whip finishing motion to build up a small bulbous head to suggest the natural heads of the chironomid larva, or bloodworm as many anglers know them.
Step 12.
I'm going to coat the body with a brushable superglue for added durability and shine.
Are these always red?
Most times they are. Chironomid larvae generate hemoglobin that enables them to live in oxygen-poor water, but you will see them in an olive coloration at certain times of the year in certain species.